This is Show Up as a Leader, a show from People Forward Network, helping you maximize your positive impact on the world by becoming your best, fully authentic self.
Hey everyone, it's Rosie. I'm super excited to have my friend Chris Johnson bring her new series, The Leadership Pause, to the show. In this series, Chris is going to unpack what it means to be fully human and access the best of who we are as leaders. And each episode is going to include stories, what she refers to as nerd science, which just is music to my ears. And she will always give a deliberate practice that we can try on at the end and apply so that we can show up as more embodied learners and leaders in our life. Take a listen.
Power is the basic energy needed to initiate and sustain action, or, to put it another way, the capacity to translate intention into reality and sustain it. Leadership is the wise use of this power, transformational leadership. Warren Bennis, author of Learning to Lead. There's a lot of buzz these days about the notion of leadership presence. Why? Well, because it matters a lot. It's important to notice leadership presence, to cultivate and deepen it. We know it when we experience it. We feel it in the others around us. Leaders with this secret sauce magnetically draw us into their orbit, as if by magic. Leadership presence is decidedly not cookie-cutter kind of thing, nor is it about having a commanding presence, though one might also have that too. It's not about putting on airs, knowing the secret handshake, or wearing the right attire, though none of those things can hurt. It's not even the timbre of your voice, the steadiness of your eye contact, or the firmness of your handshake. All good, but that's not it. According to leadership expert Sally Helgeson, she says, though all these things matter, they alone cannot make someone who is unfocused seem like a leader. Presence is that quality of being in the present moment, taking in the energy of the world around you, whatever that may include, and then listening deeply. Peter Senge, system scientist and founder of the Society for Organizational Learning, has described it as letting go and letting come. My dad, though, used to say it like this: easy come, easy go. Great statesmen, think John Lewis and Colin Powell, they have it. Great actors like Emma Thompson and Viola Davis, they do too. Of course, it's not just well-known folks who exude presence, leadership presence. It's that calm combination of comportment, confidence, and warmth that immediately puts you at ease. Your neighbor down the block might have it, or your kid's soccer coach, or the chemistry teacher they have too. Even those you experience as initially uninteresting or uninviting may later exhume calm and authority when present, like that Friday night pizza guy, the maintenance guy at the office, or the barista at your local Starbucks. So let that sink in for just a moment. Who comes to mind as you think about leadership presence? Leadership presence goes way beyond slick presentations or glad-handing command of a room. And though present cannot be manufactured despite all the hype, it can be cultivated with attention. Sally Helgeson later defines presence as, quote, bearing, personality, or appearance that is characterized by poise and confidence. It can even point to something akin to the supernatural or divine. Presence is the lively combination of a confident and relaxed body, assertive conversational skills, and positive, engaging energy that emanates in a kind of energetic force field that attracts others, because it really does. In short, leadership presence is the total package. These qualities all together have an aura of power that invigorates and serves as one of the best predictors of well-being. Ultimately, presence is about being authentic, poised, and comfortable in your own skin by being willing to be just as you are, warts and all, in any given moment. Leadership presence is, paradoxically, all about you and your full, real, tried and true self, and actually not about you at all. Simultaneous awareness. People who give us their undivided attention most vividly manifest presence. Sally Helgeson. Who gives you their undivided attention? To whom do you give your undivided attention? When someone is fully present, they're confident, yet attuned to you and to the entire context at hand. You know this, you feel it. It's palpable. You feel seen. The person gets you, even at a distance, or what Dr. Dan Siegel calls feeling felt. It's as though there's a spotlight shining on them that somehow extends to you too, because it does. Presence involves the capacity to hold attention simultaneously on yourself, your concerns, your sensations, while also paying attention to another or several others at the same time, in the same moment, and without distractions or abstractions. The distinction of simultaneous attention on oneself and on others and people around is important because the neural networks for embodied self-awareness are the same as the neural networks for empathy. Empathy is a key leadership skill. The ability to empathize appears to rest on our ability to unconsciously model in our own bodies what someone else might be feeling in their own body too. This is what enables leaders to listen deeply to what's said and to what goes unspoken, to pick up the tenor of the shared energy in a conversational space. It can feel a little like magic. How is the leader listening to the situation at hand? Does she listen into what the current situation calls for now? Does he embody the presence of mind and heart to lead into action what's called for now? When you can feel your own sensations while paying attention to another person, they can sense that you're fully in it with them without having abandoned yourself at all. Your presence then becomes, quote unquote, non-sticky, and others sense that you have no secret agenda for them other than their own agenda. Simply by being present yourself, you provide the opening for others to engage more deeply as themselves, because presence involves an ability to connect simultaneously with oneself and the thoughts and feelings of others. In other words, leaders with presence know who they are, they're authentic, and we are drawn to them. They actively connect with others, they lead from heartfelt values with sincerity and conviction, they're calm under stress. Don't we need that today? And they're accountable for their choices and actions. They also devote time and attention to learning, and they cultivate strong leadership presence that translates into deep and meaningful results. Leaders who embody presence embody humility. They don't pretend to know everything, and they willingly acknowledge their own shortcomings while embracing the contribution of others. They focus their attention on the present with one eye to the lessons of history and the other eye to the openings of possibility on the horizon. Because presence inspires and motivates, it generates the possibility of building the real, authentic trust to move into action, to take that project forward, to conclude, to be successful. So think here of Gandhi or Martin Luther King or Ruth Bader Ginsburg, each of whom led from a deep well of presence. Leadership presence is a necessary attribute of conscious leadership that can't be faked at all, but it can be amplified. Intentionally focusing on cultivating your leadership presence offers the invitation to explore between the space between ourselves and the other, which both reveals and discloses what's important. When present, we tap into qualities that enable us to connect with others, inspire them, engage them, act toward a greater purpose, and learn all at the same time. The more we as leaders practice the skills of being aware and present in the moment as it's unfolding and cultivating our own leadership presence, the more we can cultivate and create the future for the highest collective good. How? This is the tricky part. How? By training to tolerate, expand, and cultivate our capacity for ever more life energy to flow through us. The last couple of months, I've been focused on talking about energy and what is it. This, my colleague and friend Doug Silsby had to say. This is key as we wind this episode. Quote, building our literacy at staying present, sensing the context, and then acting consistently with what the context is asking of us is the art of leadership. As always, I promise to share a practice. Here's this month's practice. As you take this practice on, remember to pause and feel into your breath and all of your sensations, and go ahead and do that for 3 cycles of breath. Then, drawing on your practice of pausing to presence, to be present to what is, reflect on the following. Bring to mind a leader or those leaders that you believe have strong leadership presence. What makes you attuned to them? What draws you to them? What do you admire most in these leaders? What words would you use to describe their presence? How can those qualities inform you in your leadership? What question might you ask that person if you were in the same room together? And why that question? What today in listening did you learn from this short practice? My invitation to you is to take this practice on, be curious, learn, and apply that learning in your leadership in the days to come. Of course, I'm always interested to know what comes up for you as you take yourself on. And as you can imagine, from month to month, we're just scratching the surface. In the show notes below, you'll find my website, and you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. There's so much more to this topic about presence and pausing and energy. I cover a lot of this in my book, The Leadership Pause, that you can find over on Amazon or at your favorite bookseller. And this spring, you can head on over to my website, q4-consulting.com/leadership advantage quiz to get a better feel for how your energy, your leadership presence is showing up. As we sign off today, remember that when we're attuned to the moment at hand, present to whatever unfolds, we can make our best contributions. This is power.
I'm Rosie Ward, and this is Show Up as a Leader. To learn more, head over to peopleforwardnetwork.com and, of course, hit that follow button.